What's up, guys? Welcome to another match highlights reaction. Storm v the Roosters. I couldn't go past this game. What an incredible game of footy. Probably the best of the year. As usual, the video that I am reacting to is property of the NRL, nrl.com, @NRL. Go check their stuff out. Also on Facebook. Let's get straight into it, baby. Woo! Bad read. And the big fella. Now, this is basically what Keary does so well, is the way he runs onto the ball at speed. A lot of halves, usually because they're trying to make a decision, they'll run a bit slower, whereas Keary is running as fast as he can. He's taking the time and decision away from Croft, and also Finucane is trying his best to get out there, but if Croft doesn't stay put here, Keary could fend Finucane and go straight through the line. And also Cordner, his timing is perfect. Like, he can genuinely get the ball here, and that's the difference between the best and the worst teams is the holes and the lines they run, and that's what's just beautiful about this play. Keary running at high pace, Boyd Cordner hitting a hole, some of the best that he does. That's the best part of his game, pretty much. And then now the biggest problem here is, and they probably still would have scored because there's a 2-on-3. Now you can understand Curtis Scott thinking here, because basically he's got a big man running at him, and he's not, I don't know if he's trying to protect Croft, but he's already short. So he's like, all right, we've just got to jam him here because we're already going to be short. So if when Tedesco gets this ball, even if Curtis Scott stays out, it's a 3-on-2, most likely try time. But in saying that, what we do know here is you can see he's turned in, and Croft does have eyes for Keary. Croft has eyes for Keary, so I can't see Croft making that tackle on Cordner. So a lot of people will say this is Curtis Scott's fault. And maybe it is because we have the thing is, we know because the try is scored that Cordner didn't get the ball. But if you look at this slide right here, Cordner definitely could have got the ball. Therefore, Curtis Scott kind of has to make that decision of like, look, I've got to be here to tackle him because he could get the ball. And also, you look at Croft's eyes, they're looking straight at Keary. There's very small chance he's going to stop a tackler like Cordner running at full pace. But you just never know. And out the back, they actually do pretty well here to recover. Okay, if you see this slide here, Bromwich, and I get it, he's a front rower. Like, come on, you can't expect him to be sprinting across, but you always trail from the inside. Now, let's say Bromwich, and I'm pretty sure it's Bromwich, apologies if I'm getting it wrong, but let's say Bromwich is on his bike here, trailing from the inside, thinking that they might come under. Watch what would happen. He would be right behind Latrell and pretty much shotting him, and it would be no try. Now, again, I understand he's a front rower. Like, we're just talking perfect case scenarios here. We're not talking reality. He's a front rower. He can't be sprinting across. But I do know that as a coach, they'll be saying, you've always got to trail. So if you want to get nitpicky, again, he's a front rower. Like, you cannot expect him to be running everywhere. But that if you wanted to nitpick in the perfect scenario, he would be trailing across and make that tackle on the trail. Try time, baby. No emu, though. Very disappointing. Great kick. Now, people will say, oh, it's a fluke, he kicked it into the post, everything like that. But it's, maybe he may aim for the post, maybe he didn't. That's irrelevant. What is relevant here is it is a perfectly weighted kick, because even if it doesn't hit the post, goes getting tackled in goal. And you're creating opportunities for yourself by just getting it in the in goal and having good chases. Hargreaves, he's having a fantastic year. Front rower, scores a try. You know why? Because he's busting his ass just to make the play, even though he doesn't necessarily have to. Great try.
Butcher for Tedesco, for Latrell. He's got Tupou outside. Latrell takes them himself. Mitchell over the top.
So good. You know, we will look at Latrell, and I'll break down the Latrell part. The Latrell bit was amazing. But the Tedesco bit was just as amazing. He's the one that takes this scoot. Look, he takes this scoot. They're at 6s and 7s. Croft has to come in to make this tackle. You know, Tedesco is taking advantage of a quick play of the ball with no markers. He's constantly on the ball. Constantly keeps trailing. Here we go. He's still alive. He's still alive. Gets the ball. Passes it to Latrell. Keeps trailing. And that's the part of a side that is a top-tier side. They're constantly trailing inside. They're constantly following the ball. The energy is constantly high. Whereas you look at some of the sides that aren't going so well is they're not constantly after every ball. Their energy isn't high, you know, that where they can take a shortcut, they do take a shortcut. Now on to Latrell. I mean, look at this. He has absolutely no right to score this try. Absolutely no right.
Holds the ball.
Now, when he goes like that just shows you that he is so comfortable on a footy field. Often in those situations, your anxiety raises, you're trying to move as quickly as you can, and the adrenaline is pumping, so you're just like gunning it. Whereas Latrell is so comfortable on a footy field, he's got time to just be calm, think. He's been in this position so many times. That little dummy stops Curtis Scott just a bit. If he doesn't stop and go like that, Curtis Scott doesn't stop, and he just comes jamming straight in for the legs. But because he stops and brings his body up rather than just go straight down, he gives him that opportunity. Boom, right hand fend in the chest, a bit of a hussa in the chest,
All in one hand.
another hussa.
Palm.
Now, the other thing as well is, and this is something that I actually struggled with when I first came to NRL, because I hadn't played any footy before I was 17 years old. I always thought fending someone was throwing them off, kind of like a Mansour in his prime where he's so strong and it's just brute strength. I didn't understand until later on, and I never really did have a fend or anything like that, but I didn't understand until later on, it's not actually about throwing someone off. It's about getting your body away from them as any way possible. And what Latrell does so well, and Greg Inglis does as well, and other guys, you know, Mark Gasnier did it as well, he's not necessarily trying to push the other guy's body back. He's actually pushing off the other guy's body and accelerating away from them. So it's not about actually, even though Latrell is extremely strong, but it's not necessarily about strong. It's a timing, balance, and technique that he has perfected over years and years of fending people, that he goes and does something like this. And that's what him and Greg Inglis and Mark Gasnier are so good at, is it's not the strength part, even though they're strong, it's the timing. It's the ability to go just when he knows, just when the timing's right to push his body off someone else, boom, hits him, and he just puts himself an extra half a metre away from that person, accelerates, scores a try.
Holds the ball in one hand. Palm.
Boom, see, he pushes away from him, not into him. And that was the problem I even struggled with. Then another pass over the top. And Tedesco trailing up the middle. Just what you like to see, baby.
Brandon Smith goes in behind Cameron, goes to Cameron Munster, out now through Hughes, and
That was a forward pass, but whatever. That's just Munster playing off the cuffs. See that? See how he steps in there? He makes everyone square up. Whereas if he keeps running overs, the line's not that great. Because he's stepped in and stopped his timing, he's kind of ruined the timing. But because you're playing off the cuff footy, and what Munster is so good at, he's stopped everyone. See, they're all stopped and they're all squared up. So it creates numbers. Whereas if that momentum continues across field, you can release and push your your outside men onto the other defender. Yes, the pass was forward, but again, off the cuff footy, squares everyone up, stops the kind of rhythm that a defence is used to. Try time, baby.
Kenny Bromwich, look how straight he plays into the line.
Again, yeah. And again, Joey Johns, that's a great point. Look how straight Kenny Bromwich plays into the line there by squaring. He forces them to square up and throw the long ball. Again, I know it was forward, but it was a try still, so we've got to talk about it.
Play here on this set. Smith scampers, fires one to Carver.
That try, it's about strength, yes, but it's also just about momentum, quick play the ball. So if we go back here, see one marker's down, and it's a quick play the ball. They haven't been able to shoot off their line. They're quite wide at A. Probably got too many down the short side, I'd say. See, they've got 4 down the short side and a marker's down. So you've got 6 people in a radius of 20 metres. So the problem with this is like, look how spread out that defence is. Now, if one person came across to the long side, and I think it might be Radley, they could tighten their defence on their line and get 2 in the tackle. So it would be most likely Radley and then another person. So he'd push him across and he'd be... See how 16's coming in on an angle. So it's very hard if someone's coming in on my inside shoulder, it's very hard to stop their momentum. Whereas if I'm also coming across and they're running on an angle into me, if you pull off a big enough shot, you can stop their momentum and get help. So that's kind of why they scored this try. Great ball by Cameron Smith. That's just perfect placement of the ball, perfect line by the runner, and it's just a veteran play, really, veteran play.
Fires one to cut.
Oh, the boys are on here.
It's going to get them down the other end of the
Ooh,
middle. Look out.
Latrell, Curtis Scott.
Running in. So's Radley. This is
Yeah, the boys.
Will Chambers
Hey, a bit of huss going on there.
to inflame the situation. I wonder.
They wouldn't show any replays on the night, and I was like, show me the boys fucking blowing up, please.
Third and fourth.
You know what I loved about this? Is the ref just like, yep, the boys, they got a bit over the top. They went a bit crazy. It's been sorted. No punches basically were thrown. Let's just get on with the game. And that's what I loved about this. No one was sent off. You know, yes, it was a head high. They got the penalty. Like, it's rugby league. They're going to come screaming in. They're going to push and shove. Just let them just get out of there. I'm not saying, they should stand one-on-one and scrap, but I'm just glad that no one got sent off here because it could change such a brilliant game. Now, what's so good about this? Look at Cooper Cronk's hands. Latrell Mitchell's a left footer. So this is clearly a play that I assume Cooper Cronk has come up with. And what's smart about this is the fact that if Latrell stands on the other side, then Victor Radley can't fake to Cooper Cronk and then pass it to Latrell because it doesn't give enough time. But if he stands directly behind the ball like this and then can step off to his left foot, he's got plenty of time. About the 40 metre. I mean, that's a 12-metre pass, maybe even a little bit more. About a 12-metre pass from Radley. Perfect pass. And then, boom, gets it, looks up, takes his time, and then, boom, what a kick. What a kick. I mean, that's a big match player. Tell me how many other centres that can play fullback, wing, centre, second row most likely, 5'8", and then be dropping field goals from 42 metres out. Tell me how many other centres can do that. It is absolutely incredible, the ability of this guy. And also the try that he set up this and scored and set up this game. It's just, you cannot teach that. He is a freak of nature. No matter how hard most people train, they'll never be able to do what guys like Latrell do on a footy field. To be able to, I mean, since when did a guy that's 105, 106 kilos be able to ping field goals from 40 out and have a play set up for them to do it? But also be a 5'8", also be a fullback, also play... this guy is an absolute freak. And so, yeah, it was just... what a game of footy. Both guys... I loved the defence in the game. There was plenty of big hits. It was a relatively clean, fast game by both sides. These are the two sides to beat, to be honest. I think the Roosters are mainly the side to beat because they've shown they can put points on quickly against the Storm. But in saying that, the Storm's consistency, they've got a culture that works and they just keep churning out stars. So, I mean, I can't wait for the next game between Roosters and Storm. What a great game of footy.
Have you seen anything like it before? From 40 metres, he drilled the
Crazy.
field goal.
Over the black dot, brah, in your black dot.